The Patriots fall to the Commanders in Week 3 of the NFL preseason, ending their 3-week run with a record of 1-2. Obviously, beating the Carolina Panthers 17-3, losing the Philadelphia Eagles 14-13, and then losing to the Commanders 20-10. On today's episode of Patriots Today by Chat Sports, we're going to break down my instant reaction, everything that I saw from the last preseason game ahead of the cutdown for the 53-man roster on Tuesday. Number one, Drake Maye needs to be QB1. I'll be the first one to say it. There is a different aura of when Drake Maye is in the ballgame than when Jacoby Brissett is. However, unfortunately, up until this point, the quarterback battle has been pretty neck and neck with Jacoby Brissett and Drake Maye. But because of some incidents that did happen in Week 1, which did include, unfortunately, some injury updates, which we'll give you guys in just a few moments. It looks like Drake Maye may have an upper hand at getting QB1 sooner rather than later. But before we hop into that, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me if you guys haven't already. We'll be live for every single New England Patriots football game, and we post daily videos about the Patriots news and rumors, especially ahead of that 53-man cutdown for the roster coming up on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So go on ahead, hit that sub button for me if you haven't already. Jacoby Brissett went down in the first series of Week 3 preseason game against the Commanders, and Ian Rappaport tweeted out that Brissett suffered a right shoulder injury and was questionable to return. However, the latest update that we do have is that Jacoby Brissett was on the sideline for the entire game after coming out with that injury, and he was still in his pads. He definitely was grimacing. He was definitely holding his shoulder out there, giving that grit through his teeth when he got hit. But seemingly, a sign the injury is not serious. Head coach Jerod Mayo will update after this game. We'll update you guys what we know on what Jerod Mayo had to say about Jacoby Brissett. But that wasn't, unfortunately, the only injury that was sustained in the Patriots preseason game. They also downgraded Sidy Sow after he was knocked down around the second quarter and immediately started grabbing his ankle. And Andrew Callahan just reiterating, hard to imagine Sow would have returned anyway, but it's never a good sign when a player is ruled out. So we'll keep you guys updated on how Sidy Sow will look heading into 2 weeks away from the regular season. And then, of course, we do have Christian Ellis, who was fighting for the 53-man roster, but he ended up getting shaken up in the second half, and he did end up getting a head injury, which is really tough. That will probably end up being a cut from the roster. He's worked very hard, but you never say never. Paths may cross again, but it looks like Christian Ellis will probably not make the 53-man roster with that head injury. Let's talk about Drake Maye here for a second, because I have several thoughts on how I think Drake Maye should be quarterback one. Number one, he's comfortable. He's confident. He consistently makes good decisions, and that was the thing for me. We knew Drake Maye is a solid quarterback, but can he consistently be a good quarterback? He went through. He scored a touchdown after 2 fumbled snaps that one was his fault, one wasn't. His shoe came off, and he continued to not miss a drop step and complete the pass. He had several wide receivers miss their mark. He had numerous holding penalties, including a touchdown pass, which could have ended up making this ballgame a lot tighter with KJ Osborn, but it was called back for a lineup infraction from Chuck Okorafor. But nonetheless, look at the yards. This is a phenomenal stat line from Drake Maye. Who didn't have a good stat line was possibly quarterback 3, Joe Milton. 5 for 17, a lot of overthrown passes. Still has a lot of trouble with making sure his consistency is the same on a 10-yard pass as it is on a 70-yard pass. I mean, he's slinging these things. And it's causing a lot of these receivers to not be able to catch the ball. Nonetheless, when he was chucking it 70 yards upfield, it just really wasn't an accurate pass. It was out of bounds. It was an interception, which did get called back because of a holding on the defense. So nonetheless, Joe Milton did not have an impressive game in Week 3, so we'll have to see what the final cutdown will look like here with the Patriots quarterbacks. But let me ask you a question. Pick a quarterback for me. Do you like Jacoby Brissett type JB? Do you like Drake Maye type DM? Or do you like Joe Milton? Let me know in the comment section down below by typing JM. Here is overall what the Patriots offense did against the Commanders' defense. 355 yards, which you guys just saw. 126 of those yards did come from Drake Maye. Passing 20 for 42, 27 carries for 139 yards, 0 turnovers, but one should have been an interception with Joe Milton. It was called back. But nonetheless, the thing that stands out to me the most was 10 penalties for 157 yards. And don't be that surprised because there were 9 penalties for the Commanders. So almost 20 penalties in the entire game. Obviously, the refs were very happy to blow their whistle. But let's talk about the running back depth chart, which is still something to watch here. JaMycal Hasty, 4 carries for 21 yards. He's got a powerful run. He's hard-nosed. Same thing there with Kevin Harris. It's going to be tough to decipher who's going to be running back 3, but I do think they'll end up keeping Hasty and Harris on their 53-man roster. Overall, the top receivers here, having Jalen Polk, 2 receptions for 33 yards. Polk was very consistent, didn't play a whole lot, but he was definitely right there with Drake Maye, who also got to showcase another receiver here tonight, the tight end Jaheim Bell, which actually watching him run with some of the first-string offensive players, Jaheim Bell is ginormous. He is a fantastic target for a tight end. So I'm really hoping that tonight could solidify the tight end room will look something like Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, and Jaheim Bell. But we've got a lot more to unpack here on my instant reactions from week 3 of the NFL preseason. But I've got to tell you guys about our sponsor here on PrizePicks. Sponsor here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I'm talking about PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. If you guys want to go ahead and play, it is one of the easiest apps I have on my phone. All you've got to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. And thankfully, I ended up having a pretty good night. This was a win for me. This actually makes the 26th win for your girl and over $700 won. I had Drake Maye having more than 53.5 passing yards, Javon Baker having more than 19.5 receiving yards, and Luke McCaffrey less than 22.5 receiving yards. Well, he didn't play, so your girl gets to win. If you guys want to win like me, all you got to do is go to PrizePicks.com or download the PrizePicks app. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. One more time. Use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Run your game. This was probably the Patriots' worst game in terms of defense. They didn't really play any starters. The only sack that they had came from Keion White in the first quarter, but we got to see a lot of the depth chart, and makes me a little bit nervous because the fact that we had this win in the bag until you had McSorley running all over everybody, 12 for 21, 125 yards. I mean, he's what allowed the Washington Commanders to come back, which is unfortunate because it's going up against one of our 4th-string defensive fronts. So wasn't my favorite game from the defense, but I also understand that when you've got some injuries lingering there, you really don't want to put your guys back out there. But I think they did a lot better going up against Jeff Driscoll, 12 for 18, 73 yards, 1 interception coming from Giles Harris. So overall, they did a lot better when the first-string and second-string defenders were in. So nonetheless, I'm expecting bigger things from the defense moving forward. As you guys can see, the top receivers there for the Washington Commanders in Week 3 of the NFL preseason. Patriots have a long way to go. They got a lot of things to tweak in the next 2 weeks before Game 1, and of course with the 53-man roster cutdown being on Tuesday. I have one last question for you guys before we hop out of here. Go ahead and grade the Patriots Week 3 preseason game. Type A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section down below. I'll give this one a C. I saw a lot of good things from Drake Maye and a lot of offensive weapons, but the defense kind of sucked. Losing by 10 to the Commanders when you had the lead for pretty much the entire game is never fun. So let me know in the comment section below. We will be live for every single Patriots game moving forward. So if you guys want to join us, all you have got to do is go ahead and hit that sub button for me. If you guys have not joined over 14,000 people on Patriots Today by Chat Sports, and hit that sub button.